You got to be willing to die for the cause and fighting this good fight. But remember, God's will is going to be done sooner or later, one way or another. Anyhow, but I mean, I cannot sit still. I got to do something now, and He's working through me, and He'll work through you, and He'll work through us, true Americans, that will set the right example for the rest of the world. And it's going to be through peace and prosperity and security and freedom. All those beautiful God-given constitutional rights, the reasons that people love America is for those reasons. Okay? Let's do something about it to turn this thing around. But it's going to be traumatic. People are going to fight and scream. If we get any stabilization in the economy where it looks like the working class might actually have some hope of getting ahead again, they're going to scream and cry. They're going to say stagflation, recession, depression. Oh my God, the sky is falling. It's the end of the world. We need a bailout. We need to dilute the money again. And so they take all that diluted money, and once you boil it back down, you understand it's more concentrated, so they can go out there and actually they enrich themselves in all the melee and the chaos they create on purpose, and they go buy hard assets, silver, gold, and whatever else they want, Bitcoin, real estate, whatever you consider a hard asset. You know, nice fungible assets that aren't currency because they know they're destroying that so quick. They don't care. You understand? It's just sickening to the nth degree, up one side, down the other. We're in a lot of trouble. We need God's help. I mean, that's the only answer I can see. That's the only place I get any comfort at all, because I'd go stark raving mad, man, if I thought that, hey, we're going to fix this thing politically, because once you figure out what that means, that's all about money. At the end of the day, these people are in lockstep. The Democrats, the Republicans, they're just words. What do they mean to you and me? I mean, do we have a meeting of the minds, even the meaning of politician or government, or, I mean, so many things. Socialist and capitalist, liberal and conservative. They're just words. But they're on the big issues that really betray the best interest of the American people. They're in lockstep. The bailout of '08 is an exemplary example. It doesn't get better than that. To show you, there's the evidence right there. They had a critical mass, this tiny group of thugs, miserable characters, piss ants, feckless pustules, excuses for human beings, these top politicians and their money printing cohorts. Okay? They had the amount needed to get the job done, this tiny itty bitty minority, go against the will of the American people. And all the idiots, some 10% of the American people that thought, hey, no, we got to bail these big, they're too big to fail, too big to jail. Oh my God, what would it do to the economy? Because they're idiots, either liars or idiots or a combination thereof. That's 10% that was left over. The rest of the 90% of American people is very impressive. They said, no, we shouldn't bail out these criminals. Obviously, they deliberately did this. These people have PhDs and master's degrees in economics. I mean, this is obviously not incompetence or stupidity. These are very well-educated people that know right from wrong. So if they, we call this capitalism, then there's risk involved, then you let them fall on their face if they overextended themselves and loaned out money recklessly. That was the size of what happened there. But no, we got to bail them out. They were reckless. Yes, they did it deliberately, but we're not going to talk about that. They're too big to fail. They're too big to jail. So the new America, we call it capitalism, and if you're against it, you're un-American. So 90% of the American people, ironically enough, are un-American. Isn't that funny? But we're the right and decent ones. So let's unify behind that and forget this division. They're trying to keep them convinced that they're divided as Democrats and Republicans, socialists and capitalists and liberals and conservatives. That, keep them bickering with each other so they keep their focus off the real target. Okay, so they don't zoom in on us, the real culprits and criminals, the evildoers, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chucky Schumers, and all the other wretched politicians on both sides of the aisles. Okay, all these people are working against the American people, destroying us, robbing us blind, and then they tout themselves as these great, wonderful human beings up there, doing such a great service to the country, and they sicken me to my core. I hope they sicken you too. And these are the people that need to be parented. Can we do it? Even if it costs our lives. JFK gave his life for the interest of the good cause. He was a good American. He was an egalitarian. He was a good capitalist, a true capitalist who understands capitalism, that there is a way to define progress relative to capitalism. Is it working for everybody? Because it's just a game at the end of the day. But is that game, does it have fair rules that adhere across the board to everybody? Or is it selective and you get privileged people and it's exclusive and all that? That's at the best crony capitalism. At the worst, it's just a kleptocracy, an oligarchy. It's a fascist dictatorship. When the government's working against the best interests of the people, what are we going to get? We're going to get 51% of the American people working for the government in some capacity, and we're going to vote. Well, it's a democracy, so they got their way. So you got to pay for their raises. So sorry, your money's worth less, and now you're going to have less of that diluted money, but it benefits that 51%. So hey, for the greater good being the 51% of people that are worth. You understand? I'm just giving an example here of how this thing is frighteningly effective. It's scientific, okay? That's what they're going to push the envelope as far as they can. They're going to kick the can down the road as far as they can. They're going to pass the buck as far as they can. They're not going to think about who's left holding the bag. They're going to just try to make it just be the poorest of poor. Let them keep dying to pay the cause, and this national debt, they got to keep dying. We can't afford to pay their housing costs. We're spending $50 billion a year, and nobody's going to vote to pay more than $50 billion a year because we see this just as gasoline being poured into a gas tank with a hole in it, and all that money does is making the hole worse. So unaffordable housing keeps increasing. You understand? You get it? And there's evidence. The majority of California residents have to rent now. That's a very new thing in the last 15, 20 years. Do you understand? I know what I'm talking about here. I've done the research. This is criminal evil in our land, and we call it America. Oh my God, we're in so much trouble, my friends. So what can we do? Well, friends, listen, you could do what I'm doing. You could do whatever you want. But fighting the good fight, God will put it in your heart and mind on how you can contribute. And little things. Speak truth to power. Yes, definitely. Courageously. God will give you the strength to do that coherently. And to anybody else that'll listen. Okay? And beyond that, what you can do, there's two ways to keep surviving when your currency keeps getting debased. There's only two ways, right? You've got to either make more money, keep scrambling, work more hours, ask for raises, something, whatever, price you charge for your services or your commodities that you sell or the combination thereof. You're going to have to keep raising the price, and that's compliance. See, it's a chain reaction. So that's the obvious. Well, I got to charge more. My rent went up. My mortgage went up. My cost, this went up. That went up. You understand? So there's a justification in your mind for doing that. But that doesn't help anybody, okay? That just is hurting the people that are being hurt the most by this financial tyranny, okay? If you want to help the people and pay it forward in that way, then what you do is you shop around. You get the best deals on your housing. Go directly to owners. Circumvent real estate agents. Go straight to for sale by owner, and you make a deal. You get the best possible deal you can, okay? And also get these modular houses. If you get a lot, secure a lot, you work with another couple, maybe two other, whatever you need to do, but you got to buy something. You got to secure. Don't worry about the prices going down and you get hold back. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Remember, you're buying a shelter. You're buying a house. And that's what's most important to you, right? So you don't care. You've sacrificed that money. But if you can, pay cash, because when you finance a home, you're paying 2.5 times over. You pay $500,000 for a house, you're going to end up paying $1,500,000 by the time you paid back the bank over 30 years. Not to mention any refinancing you might decide to do in that period. When then it starts really ticking up. And you can just pass that on to somebody else and say, oh, the value of my house went up. I'm passing this. It's absurd. So shop around, get the best deals, do it for somebody else. If you think your landlord will tolerate it, ask for a pay decrease. They seem to have no problem asking you for pay increases, rent increases. Ask them for a rent decrease, your property management company, whoever it is. Look for deals, whatever it is. Shop around. Be a good capitalist. That's what capitalists do. There's a lot of competition involved. So that's the best thing I could do. But this hamster wheel that keeps getting harder and harder to turn, you say, well, I got enough money. I can grease the wheels and turn that thing. I keep doing it, even though it's getting harder and harder. But I got more money. That'll help me keep, But remember, The survival of the strongest here, it's gotten to evil proportions. It's social Darwinism on steroids, mutant steroids, and it's killing people, literally killing people, because that $50 a month rent increase that you're willing to pay, okay, it's the straw that broke the camel's back for somebody else. Do you understand? This is only grassroots, local, in your community thing that you can do that I know of, that is concrete, tangible, and will have some effect, a positive effect. Just